who the hell are we anymore when no one's looking? I think he gave me the role just so I'd leave him alone. I'm gonna do this. I have to go in and nail this.
Good morning, ScreenRant, and welcome to Coffee Chats. We are here at Gumption Flatiron in New York City, and I am thrilled to be enjoying my morning brew with the one and only Riz Ahmed. Did I pronounce it correctly? We talked about this right before we started.
You actually mispronounced it again.
Riz Ahmed.
There we go.
There we go. It's the American, like what do we call it? The syllables, the
I think Americans do uptalk where they hit the last syllable of things. And they also run things together. So it goes, Riz Ahmed. But can I tell you something? You're not mispronouncing it. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because even Ahmed is mispronouncing it. Because this is a name that exists in lots of different cultures. Like in Pakistan, it would be like Ahmed. In Arabic-speaking country, it would be Ahmed. In England, it's Ahmed. In America, it's Ahmed.
We'll take it. Well, the reason why I stumbled is because I haven't had my caffeine yet.
Oh, really? I'm excited for this.
We have matchas today. You are our
you
first.
having one as well?
Yes, of course. I always mirror the guest.
So
we've had hot chocolate in the past with Bryce Dallas Howard. We had a dirty chai latte with AEW World Champion MJF, and now we have matchas with Riz. Cheers.
Cheers, man. This is fantastic.
It's
this is fantastic. My compliments. Honestly, hey, thank you. It's so good. It's so good.
Isn't it such a warm feeling?
I took mine with a little bit of honey. Did you have some honey?
Did we put honey in mine?
Yeah,
good.
A little bit of honey just to kind of take the edge off of it. Can I tell you something?
Yes.
This is my second matcha of the day, which normally spells crisis. So I'm going through something. But yeah, if I have like a normal coffee, I get palpitations and like lose my mind. So matcha, I can handle. 2 matches is like, we're rolling the dice here, man.
Yeah, we're sitting in a coffee shop right now in New York City. You met your wife at a coffee shop.
I did.
In New York City. Well, Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Do you remember the day? Do you remember the coffee shop? Do you still go back?
Yeah, it was a Green Grape Annex in Fort Greene. And they had like one big communal table for laptops. So I was sat there, I was writing up screenplay actually. And she came in on the phone, I noticed her, and she came in and sat down on the communal table and started emptying out her backpack, looking for a charger that she couldn't find, just creating chaos. Now, having been married to her for 5-6 years, I know that is her. She's constantly losing her charger and creating chaos, looking for it and stealing mine. And that's how the relationship started off. I was like, can I help you? Do you need a charger? And we just got talking, man. It was crazy. Yeah, I guess it's like you wouldn't believe things like that can happen. But I feel like it's a very New York thing.
Very New York.
Don't you think? It's like the impact, there's collisions here.
She's an accomplished author.
She's a novelist, yeah.
And when I first read that was who you were married to, I was like, oh, they probably met through the industry. It's like, no, just a coffee shop in New York. That is
I met her just in the month before her book was about to be released. It's called A Place for Us. And then it got released that next month. And it, because the New York Times bestseller has been published in many different languages, and is a really, really profound and special piece of work for me, but for so many people. It's been a life-changing book for a lot of people who've read it, and you can see what she just pours her heart and soul into everything she does. I'm so inspired by her always.
You're a busy guy. You have so much stuff going on right now. Congrats again on the success of Bates.
Thank you.
That's a big deal for you because you produced this thing, you created this thing, and such an original concept.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, it was like 10 years ago or a bit more that I first started scribbling down ideas about a show I wanted to make, about the difference between how we like to be perceived and how the image we like to put out about ourselves, and how messy and chaotic we really are. And the thing is, I think it's true for me as an actor, but I think it's true for everyone now on social media. So it's been a long time coming, yeah.
That ending line about are you being truly yourself, or are you conforming to the idea of what the industry wants? I know I'm butchering the exact verbiage there, but I thought it was such it stuck with me, it lingered with me, because I feel that in this industry as a whole, you're performing on camera, you're taking on all these different roles. At what point do you kind of wrestle with who you are in those private moments? And I'd love to just get your interpretation of that line.
No, thank you. I mean, I don't want to analyze the line too much. I want to let other people, find what they want to find in it. But it's interesting because who the hell are we anymore when no one's looking? It's hard to know because someone's always looking. You know, we all live our lives online. We're sharing our privacy and our insanity, and like, how do you find authenticity in a world where that is commodified?
Yeah. Can I be honest too? Like, I find myself being performative, as they say. It's like a weird, dirty Gen Z word these days.
Yeah.
But like, I find myself when I'm waiting for the subway, like, I want to wait in the direction that the subway comes so my hair doesn't blow in the wrong direction. Who cares, right?
Wow,
like,
that's great. But you have long hair. You have flowing locks.
I
And
do.
That's
if it messes
and it looks
up.
good like that. Keep it like that.
Oh, geez, thank you for
Face
saying
the
that.
train.
But I say that because it's like you're for an audience of complete strangers, maybe 10 people, but you're always thinking someone's watching.
Yeah,
And that is why that line stuck with me so much.
Yeah, it's true. Someone was just saying to me before, it's like, you can't trip up on the street without 10 phones coming out.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is, the world we live in. And so that's kind of what the show's exploring, is like that distance between our public and private selves. The producer of my old band, Sweatshop Boys, Redinho, once said to me, you know, the distance between your public and private self is the amount of shame that you carry. Which I think is true.
Yeah.
You know, and so I wanted to make a comedy within that playground of shame, almost, you know what I mean? And in a weird way, like, me making the show is an attempt for me to close that distance between my public and private self, to try and take so much stuff directly from my life and like put it out. There's so many locations, incidents, stories, things you wouldn't even believe, like you couldn't make it up, that literally happened to me that are in the show. And I'm trying to share them, not because I'm trying to do a biopic, but because I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. And I think that seems to be what people are connecting with.
Yeah, you found authenticity within performance. Like, that is kind of like a big, crazy meta resolution that you have.
Wow, that's so interesting, because I've been thinking a lot about this, about like, there's two kinds of performance. There's a performance where you're putting on the mask, and there's performance when you're taking it off. And I'm really interested in the second one more now at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what the show is an attempt to do.
Your rendition of Hamlet and the way that you effectively like modernized it and kept the themes, but also kind of changed the setting and all that. Can you talk to me about your creative process?
Yeah, I mean, I really loved the Baz Luhrmann Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was badass. Yeah. And when I was 17 and my teacher gave me Hamlet, it blew my mind, because yes, I love the poetry, I love the language. I know that can be an obstacle for some people, but I think it's just like music. You don't need to catch every word. You catch the feeling and the energy. But I really love the language. But beyond that, also, I just felt like this is so raw. You know, Shakespeare is thought of as being so stuffy, and it can be performed like that and analyzed like that in English class. But it just felt so raw and so emotional. And it was really, Hamlet, this character, was feeling how I was feeling then. And how I think so many of us are feeling now, which is like, the world is so messed up. Am I losing my mind, or is the world gone crazy? That's the central question in Hamlet. Am I losing my mind, or is the world gone crazy? And it's like, that is something that I think we can all relate to. It feels very like real and visceral in this moment we're living in, you know? And so we wanted to make a version of it that felt raw and real and like a roller coaster ride. And our director said, I want to make it like an action thriller. I want to shoot it like a first person shooter, where you're entering the room with him, you're on his shoulder, you just experience things as he's experiencing them. And I'm very proud of what Anil's done with this, you know? It's very different.
It's so cool hearing you talk. You're such a three-dimensional performer. It's like, it takes a certain kind of performer who can just act in front of the camera, but also to go behind the camera at the same time and understand how things are shot, how it's going to make the audience feel, the cinematography of it all.
Well, it's easy when you're surrounded by geniuses like Anil and like Mike Leslie. Anil Karia as a director, he has a background in doing rap music videos. And so we knew he was the right person for this job, because we actually did a rap music video together. It's called The Long Goodbye. And we won an Oscar for that. And it was a mixture between like really spoken word poetry and like intense action thriller. And we made it and it worked. And we was like, this is exactly what we want to do with Hamlet. He's our guy, you know? And when you're working with people like Anil, you work with writers like Mike Leslie, you just feel so held. Actually, it's like, it's just a joy, man.
Yeah, you're well taken care of. You mentioned the Oscars. You were nominated for the Sound of Metal, or just Sound of Metal, 5 years ago now at the Academy Awards in 2021. I'd love to get your perspective on what that night was like, because as we know, it was like in the heart of COVID. It effectively was the COVID Oscars, because the Oscars in 2020 was like a couple weeks before the world shut down. And you shared that category with some titans of the industry, Chadwick Boseman, Anthony Hopkins. Just walk me through that day.
What was amazing is was having that moment, and in a way, being the COVID Oscars meant that it was just so intimate. It was cozy as this matchup.
Yeah.
And I know the world was going through a crazy time, and it was very intense in some senses, but it was kind of beautiful, just being there in this community of artists and storytellers celebrating each other in that little bubble. So I really liked that aspect to it. It felt intimate, you know?
Yeah, this is Riz in Sound of Metal. Killer shot here. I love the dynamic of lighting. I love a good spotlight on our character in the scene here with the black in the background. Sound of Metal, you're losing your hearing progressively throughout this film. Is there any aspect of method acting that you do in order to get into that mindset? And also how do you willingly turn off a sense? Willingly do that for the camera?
It's interesting because I spent a lot of time in the deaf community in New York, and my sign language instructor, Jeremy Lee Stone, JLS, he was he really taught me, I think the deaf community taught me what listening is. It's not with your ears, it's with your attention, it's with your body, it's with your energy, man. Really. You can be hearing things and not really listening. And so it wasn't so much turning off listening, it was trying to really trying to listen with my energy and my eyes and senses more. It was leaning in with all the other listening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more about that. And I think the deaf community in a way taught me what listening really is. And taught me what communication really is. It's about something to do with your energy.
Rogue One, 2016, the first Star Wars theatrical spin-off. This is you as Bodhi.
Right, yes.
Pretty special. Can you walk me through what your Star Wars audition was like? I'm sure, what was it, just a blank page? No character names, no locations, just unnamed franchise film.
Yeah, so Gareth Edwards called me up when I was shooting The Night Of, and he told me I'd love you for this role, you got to audition, send a tape, and he made a big mistake because he gave me his email address. And so I just didn't stop sending him auditions. I sent him 14 auditions, I think, over 4 days. Insane thing to do.
All the same
in
scene?
retrospect, yeah.
Just over and over, just different.
Slightly different costumes, slightly different vibes, slightly different accent. I just was going at it. And I think he gave me the role just so I'd leave him alone. So that was what it was like. And I think they've even got a little mini feature on it on the DVD extras about that.
I miss those DVD extras. Something you leaned into very heavily recently was comedy. SNL UK. There's Riz on stage hosting one of the first episodes of SNL UK. Killer monologue.
Oh, thanks,
Killer
man.
monologue.
Everything. Some amazing writers on that, and it was really a joy working with them, workshopping it, working the material, and everyone's so talented on that show. What's really exciting to me is seeing with SNL US, which, as you were saying, now you have to call it that.
Yeah, there's a distinction.
In the OG SNL, look at the people that have come through there, and it's amazing. And I think I'm excited to have all these amazing comedians, comic writers, performers, together in that pressure cooker and bonding and coming up with ideas and honing their craft. That's going to be the next decade of incredible British comedy that conquers the world. It's going to come out of those writers and performers, which is it's so exciting. So
isn't there something really special about also the live crowd atmosphere where you get that immediate real-time feedback of what is really working, what didn't land as much as you thought it would?
I think they do it a similar way in the US where you perform 6 skits in dress rehearsal with a live audience of the public that have never seen it before. And then after dress rehearsal, you have a meeting and you cut 2 of the skits.
Wow.
So if you didn't kill on the night, On the dress, it goes.
Yeah, the monologue
Which is
killed
cool.
though. I was gonna say the energy of that crowd, like it just crescendoed and crescendoed and crescendoed.
God.
The joke about we like everything a little bit crap.
We do. That's this essential Britishness. We like when things are a little bit crap. Just a little bit.
Was that, how is that?
It's more endearing. It's
Yeah,
less arrogant.
when
it's less annoyingly successful if things are a little bit crap.
The cricket bit, like the game can go on for 5 days and still end in a tie.
It's the beauty.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of cricket.
There's,
It's like life. You can go on for decades and still be a draw.
yeah, there's nothing like it. Speaking of other things you got coming up at some point this year, Digger.
Right, yeah.
We said before we started rolling, I don't know if there's really anything you can say, but you're working with the immensely talented Alejandro G. Inarritu. You got Tom Cruise leading this thing. Just, if you can, do I even have a question? What can I even ask you that you're gonna?
Well, I don't know if you got a question because I don't have an answer.
Yeah. What was the experience like? Was it fun?
Unique.
I never know how to broach.
I'll give you one word answers.
secretive.
I'll give you one word answers.
Unique. How is Tom Cruise as a scene partner?
Unique.
Unique. How is Alejandro as a director? You can't repeat
Special.
words. Special? Okay. Have you seen the trailer?
No. It's like four-dimensional chess.
Cinematography cool? Score cool?
Chivo. Chivo is a director of photography.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has 3 Oscars. Chivo means goat. Yeah, they call him Chivo. And I think they call him goat because he's stubborn or whatever it is, but also then he is the goat.
Yeah, one of one. This is a film everyone is super buzzing about because I feel like Tom Cruise hasn't worked outside of franchise films in quite some time, both between Mission Impossible and Top Gun. Like, was it cool to see him outside of the world of Ethan Hunt for a minute?
It was really amazing to just be around him, absorb his energy and his work ethic. He's in the position he's in for a very good reason. Like you like, oh, he's all in on just every bit of his energy is about maximizing the excellence of that thing we are recording in a way that is I've never seen anything like it. You know?
The last person we had on Coffee Chats was Joel Kinnaman. And he mentioned when he worked with Nick Cage on Sympathy for the Devil, he felt like when he compared it to like fighting, like boxing, like you quote unquote get the rub from your opponent, like even if you're in defeat, because you were in the ring with greatness, you like somehow like sap some of that energy and take it to your next performance. Did you feel like you took anything from Tom from working with him?
I feel like I took something from working with all of those guys. Sandra Hüller, mind-blowing artist. Jesse Plemons.
Jesse's having a moment right now.
Incredible. Like John Goodman. Yeah, just like top to bottom, man. Like I get a kick out of working with different people and getting a glimpse into their process. And it does influence me. I sometimes think, let me try like that. Let's see how they're working. Let me try that actually. That's interesting. Yeah, that's all I can say. I've said too much.
Well, we're all looking forward to Digger when it comes out later this year. I got no segue for this next topic, but you mentioned earlier music. Riz, you also do music on top of acting and producing and writing. And when I listened to some of your stuff too, I was like, oh, is this like a side hobby? Like, no, it's well polished, and also like your music videos are super well shot. Where did this passion for music begin?
It predates any of that. Yeah, it's. I came up doing both of them out of the UK. So people, particularly of a certain generation out of the UK, like know very well that I do music. But I think maybe people have been more aware of my work in the last few years, or even in the States might not know as much. But it's just a real, like, it's just an authentic part of who I am, man. It's how I started, like, understanding the world, making sense of it, working through things. Personally, was writing lyrics, and I grew up around the birth of like drum and bass and garage and grime and these very unique UK genres of kind of rap music or dance music. It's like a fusion of those kind of vibes. Going to those parties and raves and MCing at them and on it's just part of who I am. I'll never stop doing it. It just makes me happy. It makes me feel calm. It makes me feel in line with who I am. And I actually haven't released any new music for a few years, but just yesterday I've released my first track that I have in many years.
Bait?
It's from the soundtrack for Bait. Yeah. I was really inspired by the Black Panther soundtrack, how they took people from across the African diaspora, right? And we've made a soundtrack.
Sorry, not the score, because Ludwig did the score.
Yes.
The soundtrack has like Stormzy on it, and I think that there's so many good artists on both Wakanda Forever and the original Black Panther. Yeah, Kendrick did the first one.
Yes, Kendrick. Yes, I'm thinking about that album.
Yeah.
And so what we have is like a very unique record with like artists from across the South Asian diaspora, from the West Coast of America all the way through to India and Pakistan, all like creating music together. And I've got a song on there with one of my favorite UK rappers. His name is Cass Is Dead.
Okay.
And he's like, if you don't know his stuff, check it out. Deeply cinematic, completely mysterious. Yeah. He wears a mask. No one knows what he looks like. Not like that. It's actually a hyper realistic mask. But he does cover his face in the same way.
Kid is also anonymous, you know.
Yeah, he is absolutely. But Cass is like, he's just next level. So when it came time for me to do some on a soundtrack, I thought about who I want to work with. It was just Cass. You know, we've been talking about doing a collab for like 10 years now. So yeah, really proud of that and to have some music back out there.
I got no other way to end it, Riz. Is there anything else that we forgot to touch on?
We should just say that Hamlet is in US theaters from Friday, April 10th. Honestly, if you feel like Shakespeare isn't for you, if you feel like you've never been into that, watch this. It's a thrill ride, it's intense, and it's from the heart. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah,
you can also catch Riz's show Bait on Prime Video. All 6 episodes are out right now. SNL UK, you can catch the clips on YouTube. You can also catch it on streaming. And beyond that, Digger, I got the dates circled on my calendar later this year. I can't wait. Riz, thanks so much for stopping by Coffee Chats.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.